So quiet.
No more because we're live. It's Steve Phillips coming with you from Phillips Run Drip and Bubble Company in Georgia. Got a lot to talk about. Flat Broke Garage is here with us. Good afternoon, Flat Broke. How about you?
Oh, we're doing good. Happy to be home.
There you go. Sean Fat Tire Guy Thomas. He's got a big bill going on. We're going to be talking about that. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. Full of turkey.
We got Copperhead Customs. Man, he survived. He survived a snake. So anyway, we'll be talking about that and some of the bills he's got going on. How are you, brother? And it'd be morning down there. Good morning.
Thank you.
There you go.
Good evening to you.
And then we got John with Eastern Hot Rodder, and he's got one of my favorite cars of all. I wish he'd sell it to me for about $1,500, but anyway, he's got a brand new motor and all that. What model is that car?
1946 Chevy pickup.
There you go. How are you, John?
Doing all right, man. I'm real happy that I got my little truck back together. So it's that was like that's the milestone.
Yeah. Hey, I want to start off with old Flat Broke Garage up here, man. We watched this video. If y'all watching this, go watch Flat Broke Garage. He took a big trip, went to Chicago. Man, everything was going good, and he drove a U-Haul truck back home.
It's me and transmission. We have this thing. It started out with 4L60Es. I basically had a contest going to see how many I could kill in this winter snow plowing. I burned through about half a dozen of those. Then I've just kind of gradually worked my way up to about every transmission I own. Apparently, the Jeep Cherokee really isn't meant for towing heavy stuff at high speeds with me driving it. I thought coming back, I had blown out that 4.0, that 6-cylinder Cherokee engine is bulletproof except for there's a couple minor flaws. It has head gasket flaws, valve cover gasket leaks, and then it's got like an adapter for an oil filter with an O-ring on it, and those things will pop and blow and stuff. And while driving through the Chicago suburbs at a fairly high rate of speed, pulling a trailer, it looked like a World War II Japanese plane crash and just white smoke pouring out of the back. I couldn't figure it out. I opened the hood and look. It's coated in what I thought was engine oil because it was all up around the oil filter and stuff. And I thought, well, maybe that's it. I pull it over to the first place I can limp it to thinking I'm hemorrhaging engine oil. And I checked it real quick. I was down about a quart. I pull it into, luckily, an ASE certified shop. Kind of told them my stories. I'm like, look, dude, I know what's going on. I got to get home. Tomorrow's my son's birthday. Day after that, Thanksgiving. It's a holiday weekend. I got to get home. And they're like, well, we realize that we're busy too. I get it.
Yeah.
So, I get an Uber. I Uber over to U-Haul. Rent a U-Haul truck. Here's an interesting fact. Did you know you cannot rent a car or pickup truck one way in America anymore?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, you cannot do it anymore. There's such a shortage of cars in America right now that all the car rental agencies, except for airports, are holding on to their cars basically for insurance claims. So like when you get in an accident, they have to supply you with a car. So they won't let any of their cars leave their corral. So you're in trouble. So whether I wanted to get home one way or another, I couldn't even rent a car to get home. I had to rent a U-Haul truck to drive home, which is what happened to me on the Power Tour too. I break down a lot. I do break down a lot.
Trains and automobiles.
And you broke down over
It was plain trains and automobile. By the time I got home with my $1,000 U-Haul truck, the shop had called and said basically that the torque converter seal let go and pushed all the trans fluid out. So I did a little research on that transmission. And if you don't run trans coolers with them, they're prone to boiling the trans fluid, pushing it out the overflow and pushing the seals out, which is exactly what I did. So nevertheless, they'll have the truck done. They'll have the Jeep done tomorrow. My friend, luckily, I have a great friend in Chicago that's going to drive down, pick it up. He'll drive it down here, be here Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. He's going to come to Turtletown because God knows you got to see Turtletown.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fly him home. The money just doesn't stop.
So how much are they going to charge you? They say how much they thought it would be to fix that transmission.
$700.
Well, that's a lot cheaper than what I figured it'd be.
Me too. Especially in the Chicago area.
Yeah.
This shop's labor rates are $130 an hour.
Wow.
So, you know,
It worked fast.
but here's the thing. Here's what they do with people. And this shop is legit. They got great reviews. When they bring your car in, they're upselling themselves. So they bring it in and they check out and they'll give you a list and say, hey, well, here's what's wrong. Well, your head gasket's leaking. I go, it is. Can you explain that to me? Because they don't know anything about me. They, well, it's leaking oil. I said, well, if you know anything about a 4.0 Jeep engine, they all leak oil. He said, well, it could use a head gasket. I go, okay. He says, your rear main seal's leaking in the engine. While we have the trans out, we could fix that. I go, really? How bad does it leak? Can you send me a picture? He said, well, just a few drips. I go, and then there's the trans seal. I go, what would all that cost? He says, well, $2,600. Well, I paid $1,300 for the Jeep. We're not going down that road. We're not going there. So I go, I know I don't need a head gasket. I said, even though, you're legit, it is leaking oil. I'll give you that. But I know there's no water in there. It runs, it drives.
Yeah.
So, and I said, I really don't need a rear main seal. The picture you sent me, I only see a couple of drips. He goes, well, while we're in there, I said, while you're in there, you're going to add another $600 to it.
Yeah.
So I go, what is it? Let's get me home. Let's put the trans seal in it, get some trans fluid in it, and point it to Turtletown. He said, well, about $700. I go, there's the one we want right there. That's it. But now, see, if you didn't know anything about cars,
Sure.
and somebody said your head gasket's leaking, your rear main seal's leaking, these guys would have made $2,600. And I'm not saying that they're doing it wrong. I'm not saying that. Everything he said is legit. But knowing that engine,
You didn't have to do it.
that's just, it's what they all do.
Yeah.
So, it's a gray area, really. Those guys are there to make money, and I understand that,
But
man,
take advantage of somebody. I did basically the same thing. We was in Columbia, South Carolina, and I was trying to come home. I had that little Dodge Miser, like Sean fixed, a little slant six, 3-speed overdrive. Come back from Columbia, and that it just locked in overdrive. It just locked. You could not get it out of overdrive. So I pulled into a transmission shop there and told them, can y'all just get it in third gear? If y'all can get it in third gear, I'll make it home. That's all I need. If y'all can just go in there and just put me in third and leave me alone, I can make it home. And they got in there and took that transmission out and tore it in a million pieces, and then come into me and said, hey, we can custom build this transmission for $3,500. You'll never forget that. Custom build.
Yeah.
With my attitude, I said, well, how much is an uncustom build? How much is that? Is that any cheaper? So they said, no, it's no cheaper. I said, well, just bring the truck out here. I'll take it. He said, you understand? We done pulled the transmission out. We've got it all took apart, and it's in. I could just put it in the back of the truck. I'll go across and get me a U-Haul, and I'll just drag it home. So I went and went and rented a U-Haul van. That's all they had, and they didn't have a trailer, but they had the dolly. You know where you pull the front end up on it?
Yep.
And I thought, well, I got her whooped now, and so I got that thing loaded up and headed down the road. And that van, the way it pulled, I couldn't get over 40 mile an hour because that thing would start fishtailing. And I'm telling you, that's the longest trip I ever took back from Columbia, South Carolina to Georgia, man. And it was just forevermore. But I always remember they said custom build. They couldn't
Custom build, baby. Custom build. That makes
$35,000 or $4,000, I think it was.
That makes you feel better for spending that extra cash. Yeah. And they'll throw in a warranty only valid at their shop.
Yeah, that's always good.
We did my wife had a little Dodge Neon, and she was feeling real guilty because she was overdoing the oil change. It was like, I don't know, she only had like 4,000 miles on it since the last oil change. So it was still within reason. I had two different schedules, the 3,000 and the 5,000 mile one. So she was right in the middle of it. So I said, well, just run down to Jiffy Lube and get it changed. So she was down there doing that, and I was doing some running around, and I was across the street at the parts store, and I saw her car there. So I said, I'll swing in and hang out with her. So I went in, and the guy calls her in. He says, and he says, sir, you can come with me. All right. So we go back there, and he says, it's been a long time since you had the oil change. She said, I know. I'm like, I said, it's not too bad. And he goes, it's been a long, long time. So, really, it does a lot of engine damage. He said, put your hand over that engine. So she does. And I'm looking at him like, what's he getting to? And he goes, you too, sir. So I held my hand over it. And he says, feel that heat? He said, that's friction. That's killing the engine because you didn't change the oil enough. I said, that heat is because it's an internal combustion engine, and those cylinders are making about 1,000-degree temperature. I said a third of it is friction, a third of it is exhaust, and the other third goes through the flywheel to power the engine. I said, you're not pulling the wool over my eyes, pal. I said, just change the damn oil. And he goes, well, there's antifreeze in your transmission fluid. I said, there is. He pulls the dipstick out, and I looked. I said, boy, it looks good in red, just like the way it's supposed to be. I said, I brought it here to change the oil. You change the oil. Well, your air filter's dirty. I said, I'll buy one for $6 across the street. Yeah. And he was like, I said, man, that motor runs at 195 degrees. Of course it's going to feel hot. I said, what are you trying to pull? So you're trying to rip her off. And Sonia, she said, man, I'm glad you're here because I thought I was doing something wrong. Yeah. And, so how many of those people did they dupe like that and sucker them into like that $50 extra oil treatment?
Oh, yeah. Do you want True Coat with that? What was that, Fargo? Do you want True Coat on that? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The hardest day for me as I get older is when I can't work on my cars no more. And I have to take it somewhere, and I have to choke that down. That being said, though, my 1-ton truck needs ball joints, and I'll tell you what, I am not putting ball joints on a 1-ton truck. It ain't happening. I know a guy that'll do it, but that ain't. No, I've messed with them coil springs, and I ain't gonna mess with 1-ton coil springs. So,
right out of high school, I went to work over at Bypass Texaco, and that's what they done. It's full service. We changed oil, the whole 9 yards, transmissions, you name it. There's a lady pulled in, and she had a Buick Regal, fairly new at the time, probably, I don't know what model, but anyway, 87, 88, I don't know, Buick Regal, good looking car, brand new, clean as a whistle. And she pulled in, she said, my car is using oil. Can y'all check it? So we pulled it in, ran up on the lift, pulled the dipstick out. It was just over full. You would not believe how much oil was in that thing. It was plumb up at the top of the dipstick. So we drained the oil out, put new oil in it, and told her, that the thing was over full, that we changed the oil, it's ready to go. No way it's leaking oil. And she comes out there, she pulls the little cap off and looks down in the valve cover and says, I can't see any. We're like, man, pull this out. This is where you check the oil. But she was looking down there and she couldn't see no oil, so she laid it to it. Boy, she filled that thing up. She couldn't keep it full of oil.
And those are the people that go to those shops,
Yeah. Wonder didn't bust a piston, but I guess, I don't know, just luck of the draw. I think it was a 3.8 with a little V6.
Yeah. Yeah, so, there's a lot of people, it's my dad ran a service station for a long time. And when he closed it down, his customers were really worried on where to go because they trusted him so much, and there was other guys in the neighborhood that were sneaky about everything. One guy even showed my dad, he had a ring made up with a razor on it so he could nick a fan belt and say, oh, look, you got a cracked fan belt. You got to change that. And my dad was always the other way around. He'd, well, you need this. You can get by with this part. You can, just, you want me to fix just what we have to kind of thing. And, he was just good and honest about it, and he had a good reputation. But some of those other people, man, oh man, they'll bleed you dry as soon as they get a chance.
I took a cussing over her one time. I changed the brakes on this lady's car. She's an older lady, funny little lady. She was a hoot, but why, I have no idea. But she actually come out in the bay after I changed the brakes on the thing. So we just decided to let her go ahead and back it out of the bay. I didn't think nothing about it. Didn't cross. Normally, we back them out and all that. So she crawled in there, and we was going to direct her out, and I forgot to pump the brakes back up after I changed the front brakes. And so when she backed out, she went all the way across the parking lot and bumped up against the curb in the back and stopped, And she had a 120 cigarette. I never forget. She lit that cigarette before she got in the car, and I could see that thing going up and down, and I could actually read her lips. And what she was calling me, boy, she got out of that car. Y'all didn't put no blankety blank brakes on my car. That thing won't stop. Boy, you never heard like. Of course, we couldn't argue with her for laughing. It was the funniest thing in the world after she got stopped. But I'll never forget that. That was so funny. Good Lord. Everybody's got stories, but anyway, Copperhead, you don't like fiberglass bodies. What, you give away a perfectly straight truck because you don't like fiberglass bodies?
Yeah, I think they like handymen build them.
Yeah.
It's like if you were a house builder and then you went and bought a house that was half done by a handyman, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sort of what, to me, that's how, I don't know. My head doesn't comprehend it, that you put metal in it and then you put wood in it and then you join it with fiberglass and it's just all double Dutch. And when I've got a metal cab sitting there, I just thought, I'll just do that instead.
So now, did
I think it's a better way. Like, pardon?
do you buy that body to go on that truck, or you bought the whole thing like it was?
I bought that. Yeah, I bought that all as it was that someone had been building. They'd been doing that for 15 years, but it had a two-stage, one of those 265 Hemi motors in them, in it, 6-cylinder.
Oh, yeah.
And I ripped that out and got rid of that and built the Chevy for it. And then I boxed all the chassis and everything, and pretty much everything that he'd done, I was changing because it was not done to my standard. So then, when I put that body all back on it, it was like, I wasn't enjoying it. So, and then just looking at like joining the doors and gluing them together, and it's just, I was just like, this is just rubbish to me.
There's a lot of bodies that are real nice, and then there's other ones that are just garbage. You know,
just the whole concept. It wasn't a real good fiberglass one to start with, but just the whole concept of using the fiberglass, and I just didn't enjoy it, and like having to fiberglass nuts into the doors and stuff so that the door handles will screw in, and all this is just rubbish, like, to me. So being a metal person, I'm just like, no, and I've got all these other cabs, so it's a Chev chassis with the Chev motor in it, and then I went, I've got a 38 Chev cab up there, so and I think, fingers crossed, I've picked up a 37 truck that has a good front clip on it. So
that's a good looking truck.
And so, I think they marry straight up, the 37s and 38s. So
I love the looks of that truck. I know what you're talking about on the fiberglass, though. We're painting that 89 Cadillac over. It ain't got but 23,000 miles, but the bumper, that plastic part where the bumpers go in were just rotten. They were gone completely. And so I go on the internet and got to looking, and I bought fiberglass fillers for that. They make them plastic ones, the cheap. I mean, they're not even plastic. They're just, but anyway, I found some for fiberglass. I thought, well, that way I'll do the fiberglass. That's got to be better than the old cheap plastic stuff that just breaks. And man, we got them things, and we've had to scrub and Bondo and just them filters to make them fit, because they were terrible. It was just but I mean, ain't no backing up now. We've got too far now. We're fixing to paint it. But I mean, it was amazing to me how bad off. I mean, they were shaped, pretty much the way the fender was, but they didn't match up. They were too tall, too high. They were sunk in. It was terrible. So I know what you mean on that fiberglass. And I'm with you. Itch, gosh almighty, man. You have to use a bodysuit when you work on them fiberglass.
You itch for days.
Yeah.
It had a wooden floor in it that wasn't thick enough. So then, and his plan was to put another layer of plywood in it, and then put sheet metal on the underneath side, and then fiberglass the top side. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like,
at that point, it weighs more than a steel body.
Put some RHS through it and put a sheet of metal in it and weld it in like it's done. Like, it just seemed like a lot of hard work. That and I don't know. You got to enjoy what you're doing. So,
my Willys is a glass body car, and that's a good quality body, but I'm still fighting door hinge fitting issues on the passenger side. The aftermarket just doesn't make a hinge. It's a hinge that would work good on like a 32 Ford Roadster, but by the time I put I had it fitting good, and then I put my electric motor in for the window, and now I got to readjust the door and everything, and it's just a lot of times I wish it was steel. But the body on the Willys has got good reinforced floor and everything. It's really done well. But, it's, like I said, some of the bodies are really good and other ones are just garbage.
See, none of that was done. So it it had the wooden floor in it, but it was basically like a floppy body. I still had to completely bar it out and do more floor work. And then
mine has a burn cage already built into it.
Yeah, you put your bars through it, and then you got to fiberglass that in and join that, like, to join it. And I was just like, this is, I don't know. To me, it was just being a metal person. It's like double Dutch. My brain wasn't really comprehending it. And
well, now I'm gonna be a little nosy because I don't know if y'all do the same thing, but when I watch other videos and I always look in the back and see what they've got back there, I'm thinking, "Ooh, I'd like to have that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to have that." But now you've got a pretty good collection of some good looking trucks. If them's all yours.
Yeah, I got heaps of them. I'm like I don't know if I told you I'm addicted to buying stuff. So
Yeah, here.
We all are.
I think we all are,
I've got
yeah.
about 300 freaking cars, but I shut myself off from the sites because I'd go crazy. Like I've I've just found a heap on the weekend. I went looking for 37s and I found I think every 37 Chevy that's in the country just about that's out on a farm, and so there's a couple coming up in auction. So I'm fingers crossed. They're down, way down south, like in near Victoria, but they're we'll see how we go with them. But yeah, we might be doing a few road trips.
Well, you know,
So
my thing
there's
is
like five things down there that I'd like to get. But
right now the leaves are off the trees, so I mean, I'm ready to go. The other day I rode around for about an hour because just looking in people's backyard, see what I could find. Do you do that down there? I mean, is that the way you do, or you find the ads on paper?
I'll find the ads, but like then when we'll go out on a road, like generally the good stuff. There's no good stuff close, like because it's deer. So that's like sort of what I'll do is I'll go out in the middle of the country and bring one home, and then I'll whack it on for sale. But like those. The Plymouth I've got got 10 grand on it. Now I didn't pay that because I dragged it in from the middle of Australia. So, but when I'm out there, we'll look around. Like the wife even said we should take the drone and send the drone up, but you've got to be a bit careful out here. Like the old farmers, a lot of them aren't real friendly. Like they'll come out with their shotgun and want to blow your head off a bit.
You sound like you're from around here.
Yeah. And a lot of them don't want to sell anything. Generally, what happens is the old blokes cark it, and then the kids take over the property, and then they just sell everything off.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So that's where you sort of get them. But
I found I think probably a 76 GMC Jimmy. What is it? It's not the El Camino, but it's the Jimmy. What do they call it?
Spirit.
Yeah,
Or
I went over and checked on it yesterday, but there was nobody home. It looks like it's kind of looks like an abandoned house with the car still there. But I thought that GMC might be something a man do something with. Good looking car, but it's a Spirit. Is it the Sprint? GMC Sprint.
Yeah, GMC
Sprint.
Yeah.
I found one of them the other day, which I went and checked
or
out.
There was another name they call him
El Camino.
Or something like that.
No, my buddy's got one. The guy that's bringing my Jeep down actually has the GMC El Camino, and he told me the name. And it's a goofy name.
Caballero or something.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yep. He's got that.
And the Sprint was a package on it, but they call them. They use both names, I think, through the years.
Yeah.
Some years it was Sprints, and other years it was the El Caballero.
Are they worth anything?
Yeah, same as an El Camino.
But I'm just saying, are they pretty popular right now? Or
well, those Colonnade years are the weakest years for them, but they're coming on stronger. They're a good riding car. They were a good frame and everything. They were an overlooked car because they were big and heavy. Once they went down smaller in '78, everybody wanted those. The G body style. But the Colonnade years are starting to get attention now. And they're you can get the Laguna nose, a bolt on those. In '76, that was the shovel nose Laguna nose.
The NASCAR nose, right?
Yeah, and the 73 and 4, I like the 73 and 4 nose better than the 75 and 76 nose, but the nose is all interchanged. The fenders are the same from back, so you can just change the urethane bumper out for the Laguna nose. But they're El Caminos, or those years, I think the El Caminos, just like the G bodies, it seems like the El Caminos bring more money than the Malibus that they were based on.
I'm looking right now. It's got to be a 73 or 74 because it's that body style. I mean, it's that front end single headlight.
Yeah, 73 to 75 was single headlight. 73 had a big bumper that stuck out, and the grill kind of went underneath the headlights. 74 was a nice trim looking nose on the Malibu. And
it's not the 77. It's not got the 4 headlights. It's got the 2 headlights.
Yeah, 76 and 77 was the stacked headlights. But yeah, they're pretty. Is it two-toned? They look cool when they're two-toned.
I can't remember. It seems like it's pretty dirty, so I don't know. And the man might not be able to do nothing with it. Who knows? I'm gonna save it for my grandkids, kind of thing. But now, Copperhead, tell us about this Copperhead that you're down there coddling snakes.
Yeah. Well, and they're probably my least favorite animal in the whole world as well, I'd say. So
I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the Pontiac, and we were just tinkering on it, and I come out, and the door was open, and I come out, and the bloody Eastern Brown was coming through the door. quickly grabbed my phone and got a little bit of footage, and then the dog was out, so I had to run out and put the dog away because they'd kill the dog in 10 seconds, pretty much. So,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, that was a bit of a moment.
Do you have a lot of those on your property? Do you get a lot of them?
My property's pretty good normally because I bait,
Okay.
so we don't have any food for them. So the snakes will normally only just cruise past. They don't normally hang out here, whereas other people don't bait their rats and mice and whatever, and so the snakes live there because they got a food source. So I don't really. I keep my yard pretty manicured and don't have a food source, so they don't really want to live here. They will cruise through the property, but and we got to cut that big goanna. I don't know if you've seen that big goanna, the video of that big lizard. So they don't like snakes. So he lives here, like in the rocks.
Now, are those goannas, are they immune to the snake venom on those browns? Because I know they'll eat them if they get the opportunity.
Say that again.
I've seen some videos of those goannas eating the snakes, like grab them, thrash the heck out of them, and kill them. But are they immune to the venom?
I think that don't quote me, but I think the snake can't penetrate their skin. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to ask my mate. That's a good question. I'll ask my mate on that. I don't know if he's watching or not. He might be able to fill us in on that if he's watching.
Well, that's kind of like the king snakes here. The enemy and my enemy. I hate snakes, but we have a 7-foot king snake that lives here and a 4-foot. Now they're harmless to people, but they eat all the venomous snakes, the rattlesnakes, the copperheads. So, you see a 7-foot snake sitting on your front porch, he's a good one. You got to stop shooting those. So I've come to terms, the enemy of my enemy, they can stay here. So,
yeah. I got a big black snake here. Black snakes are good for that. I've got a huge black snake.
Yeah, well, some of the black snakes, just the regular rat snake, they won't eat the venomous snakes. They're, but the king snakes will, and the black racers will.
Yeah. So we've had one copperhead here in 5 years I lived here. Other than that, them big king snakes just hang out. They say just leave them alone. They're docile too. You about pick them up, So you got to have something that eats the bad things on your property. So
I'm like Copperhead. He was done that day, and that's the thing about it. If I'm out in the woods and I see a snake, I'm going home because I'm done. Because everything I see looks like a snake from then on.
Yeah, I didn't work for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
I was a mess.
We were rescuing an old bread truck. It was like a probably 51 to 54 Dodge bread truck. It was a root van, is what they called it. And interesting side note, they had an independent rear suspension, but we slid the door open, went in, checked it all out, was, this is cool, came out of it, and then we're standing there and I look over at it and it looked like a gasket hanging there, and all of a sudden I went, and I went, it's a snake.
Yeah.
So every time we went in there, we were looking, we didn't get an idea, pretty sure it was just a black snake, but it had a pattern on it, so I think it was just a young black snake, but we weren't sure.
I know Dylan, my boy, he went in, we got a couple of shops, and he's got a smaller shop, but he went in it, and just so happened there was a 5-gallon bucket, empty bucket, and there was a copperhead on top of the bucket underneath the sandblaster.
Wow.
And he just happened to see it, man. And you talking about busting somebody. Of course, we killed it. We got rid of it. But, man, I mean, that would have been – I couldn't stand it. I'm like him. I'm done. I'm over with it.
I was up in Nutshook's junkyard. I was looking for seatbelts for a 67 Impala. And we're way up in the back, and there was a 68 Impala up there. And I was with a friend of mine. He was a big soda drinker. And we were walking around. It was middle of summer, so I was like real aware of snakes, So I climb over the car and I look down between the two cars before I drop down in, and no snakes there. And I get down in between it, and the windows were down in the car, so I'm leaning in to look, and I'm pulling my arms back to make sure there's not a snake sitting in there. And I didn't see anything. And just as I reach in to check the seatbelt, my buddy opens his soda. He goes, scared the crap out of me. I just looked at him. He goes, "What's so funny?" And he goes, "What are you looking at me?" I said, "Me, you scared you had to open your soda then." He just starts cracking up. He's, "Oh man, I didn't realize. I'm sorry."
It's like the Elvis car, that limo.
Yeah.
I opened the doors up, and you're looking because I asked Steve, the guy that owns the junkyard. I go, "There rattlesnakes here?" He goes, "Oh, they don't bite much." So there's snakes there. So I opened the door to that limo, and there must have been a 6.
Oh
no.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm back. So there must have been a 6-foot snake skin inside there. Scared the hell out of me, you know. Then I'm like, nah, that's it. I'm done. I ain't going to. I had that GoPro on a stick. I
Yeah.
just put it in there. I ain't getting in that car.
Oh,
No.
we
My
got-
dad,
Can y'all
my
see
dad had
this for
42
Mark?
cars.
Mark Griffith. Is that your buddy's name, Mark?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, he said the skin is going to be too tough on that, so they're not immune to the venom.
Okay.
So the skin is too tough.
Yeah, so
So if
they
they got a bite
fangs
inside,
can't penetrate their skin, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so if they got bit inside the mouth, it would do them in.
But ain't them iguanas? Ain't they like poisonous anyway? I mean, ain't they got some kind
got
of?
a lot of
Like,
bacteria.
They got real bad bacteria, I think, in their mouth, like really, really bad. Like, so he's a snake expert, and he's more petrified of those goannas than he is of any of the snakes.
I know people got them things for pets. Hey, we got Action Auto here. He
Oh,
said
not a goanna. I
Yeah.
don't think they have goannas as pets.
they got what are them things they got?
Oh, they'll do Savannah monitors.
Iguanas and stuff.
Gila monsters.
Who
They
in
got
the
they
Gila
God's world
monsters.
wants that for a pet? I mean, honestly, who wants to cuddle up with a lizard?
My sister, we had when we were kids. It was my sister and I did pretty good business getting pets that no one else wanted, and then hanging on to them just long enough for my mom to pay us to get rid of them.
Oh.
You know, so it was like she got this big Savannah monitor lizard, and the guy was trying to turn it into a pet store, and he kind of abused it and everything. So Sarah took it, and you know, it only eat live stuff, so she didn't really like having it. And she's like, I just have to hold out for like another week, and Mom will give us $20 to get rid of it. so she gave it to the neighbor, and it got out of its cage, and they never found it. But all the mice in her house disappeared. So it
Yeah.
That's a
just
good thing.
lived in the walls and ate all the mice.
Sean, you ain't said a whole lot, man. You got a big bill going on. You could spend all your money on a 440. I went up there the other day. He's pulling a 318 out, grinning from ear to ear.
Yeah, I've been working. I worked pretty hard this weekend. Of course, Friday and Saturday. Got my steam cleaner out, got the motor out of the satellite and steam cleaned underneath it. And there was a little bit of rust up towards the front of just behind where the engine bolts in on that B body. And I made some little patch panels and got them welded in, and then got everything painted underneath, got the K member all cleaned up. I've been sitting here going over in my mind how I'm going to get that 440 up in there, because I'm going to do it from
A
the
bit
bottom
more
side.
elegantly than you took the other one out.
Oh, yeah. How'd you like that? Nothing like the jack slipping on you, are they? As long as it is, you know, of course, I wasn't worried about it whenever I was going in. Of course, I won't be able to have enough hands when I start putting that 440 in it.
Yeah.
But
But that car was originally gold. What is it? Sandstone gold? I always liked that color.
no, that's it's either burnt orange or bronze. I can't remember what they call it. I ain't really looked up the color because, you know, I like the car black. I ain't interested in that factory color at all on that car.
Mhm.
And to me, that car being black is what drawed me to it. It's what made me notice it, because I think it's the best looking color for them body styles.
The black.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you do, man. If you take that thing and drop that, take that big old tunnel ram off of it and put your 4-barrel on it, and don't cut a hole in it, drop that rear end back down.
No, it's got to look 70s. Wait till you see it whenever I get totally done with exhaust and everything. And I
It'll be the
might switch the
street
wheels.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like driving down the road looking up all the time.
No, that's
To the
looking
sunroof.
down. Because I'm not
I
doing
know
the
you're looking
Carolina
down, but you're
squat.
having to
I'm
look
looking-
up to see out the road, man.
You got to
You're
wear a
not-
seatbelt just to keep you in the seat so you don't keep falling
Now,
forward.
you run them torsion bars up high enough and you don't even notice it.
The headlights, you got to adjust the headlights all the way up so that you can see ahead, right?
Wherever we got to go, click.
Yeah. But, you know, cleaning all them old parts, and it takes so much time to clean and paint,
yeah.
you know, because you want everything to be. Of course, I bagged the whole car up and then cut, you know, and to repaint the engine bay and then paint the hole underneath. And, but just cleaning that, it takes forever to do that, you know. Now,
Yeah, it
the K member, I got it all repainted. The rest of the stuff now, I don't have no more cleaning to do. I'm just going to be putting new parts, mainly the everything I think now that I'm going together, I was just sitting there going, everything's all new that's going to be going back on it. So I won't have to be cleaning tomorrow. I'll just be putting the parts in it. And then, and then a little stressful about how I'm going to cut the hood because I don't want the hole to be too big. I want it to be just big enough to, where I can shut the hood.
Hey, I know what you can do that'll help you with that. Is I did it on the Willys. Is I I took the air cleaner studs and made them just tall enough to contact the hood to leave a mark.
Uh-huh.
Drilled a 1/4-inch hole, and then I bolted the air cleaner lid. After my car was already painted, so I used a lot of painter's tape where I was going to be working, and then I bolted the air cleaner lid to the hole, the 1/4-inch hole, and traced the air cleaner lid out so I could make a nice tight cut. And then made it. If you use a Sharpie is a 1/2 inch across. So if you hold it straight, it'll space out a 1/4 inch from that air cleaner lip,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just trace that out. And I cut that out and left a nice perfect spot where you can open and close the hood and cleared everything, no problem.
Was it a tunnel ram or just a single quad or a single four?
Tunnel ram. I got a tunnel ram on the Willys and the rat rod. So that's why the both air cleaner studs is what.
Oh,
I use.
you use. See, I'm going to be using
The
two velocity stacks.
Yeah, same
I guess
thing.
you used one of them snorkels, didn't you?
No, I used for a while. I just had the air cleaner sticking up through. So I used 2 9-inch air cleaners, and so once I located the center by closing the hood on the stud, I bolted that air cleaner down on there. So I cut I traced that one around and then just drew a straight line to meet the front one and traced that curve again. So I cut out a perfect oval, the shape of the 2 air cleaner lids, and worked out perfect. So even with your stacks, if how big are your stacks?
They're tapered. They're tapered.
Whatever that width is across, if it's 9-inch, you can borrow my air cleaner.
Yeah. They taper down to the carburetor, but then because these are the velocity stacks, it's just got the foam.
Yeah,
they got 2 pieces.
They can't be much more than 9-inch, or else they'd hit each other on the intake.
Right.
I'm running a Hawaiian tunnel ram with 2 Hollies, and the 9-inch or 9.5, whatever that air cleaner is, was the biggest one I could fit on there without hitting.
Right. These are smaller than that. These are smaller than the 9s because I think they would be because they're just they're almost like the velocity stacks, like the drag racer that didn't even have filters. They just but it's got these two metal things with holes in them one goes below the foam and then one goes over the foam, and then it's got a little snap ring thing that goes down there and keeps that way. It'll keep them to the foam.
The dirt out.
Yeah.
So is that mounted with do they clamp to the carburetor, or do they use a wing nut?
They do have a wing nut that it's got a little old bar welded in there, and it goes over that stud, and the wing nut goes down in there and tightens.
So you could run, if you drill that 1/4-inch hole, you could flip the stack upside down and slide it down over and use the stud as a guide. You can, double nut it onto the hood and then trace that shape out, and you'll get a nice.
I'm going to get a friend of mine to help me that's done a couple. He's actually really a good body guy, but Robbie Nichols, he's he come by, and we're going to wait till I get the motor up in the car. Okay. Because I hadn't even took the hood off the car yet. And he said, absolutely. He said it'd be better if it's on there anyway. But whenever I get it to the point, then he's going to come over and he'll help me cut, because it's that's one thing that's really stressing me, to make sure that of course the hood's got a good paint job on it. The hood's not really a good hood, but it's perfect for the car. It'll work, fine with me cutting it. Because there's a lot of Mopar guys really uptight about that hood getting cut. But, I mean, it's not a hood that would never be worth putting on any kind of a show car. So
especially after it has a hole cut in it.
Yeah.
But I'm all for it, man. I love tunnel rams, man. I cut a hole in every hood. When I put the tunnel ram on my Willys, everybody says, "You gonna cut that painted hood?" I said, "If I have to," and I had to, so I did.
Well, that motor's beautiful, man. I'm gonna tell you, that 440 looks good, and I mean both of them, even Sean's, man. That 440 that he's got. Yeah. That's the thing about it. Once you get the motor in there, and then you look at the rest of the car, think, "Dang, I need to fix this," and he'll have that thing shined up for it's over with.
Yeah. Well, the paint overall is pretty good on the car. It's got a couple little bubbles here or there, but that's fine. I mean, I will, once I get that motor broke in, I will get out and, spin some tires in it. And I'll probably take it to the drag strip maybe and make a couple passes with it.
Well, you got to do that. Well, now them turnarounds, Tim, I never have fooled with one of them things, but they're just made for wide open. Are they not made for just?
No.
The street Rams. If you get the street Rams, they come in depending on the application about $2,500 to $3,000, and they go up to about $7,000 to $8,000. They make a ton of torque. I had people tell me you can't run a tunnel ram on the street all the time, and I got 2 600s on that 409-inch motor that I built for the rat rod, and before I took that apart, I threw that intake and carb setup on there. Drove it up to New York and back, put 2,100 miles on it on that round trip. Drove it for a few more years before I took it apart and pulled the plugs out when I rebuilt the motor, and the plugs were still decent. So if you set them up right, the biggest problem people do is they end up throwing too big of a carburetor on them and overcarburate the hell out of it. But if you set them up, they're fantastic. They make a ton of low end torque. They look awesome. They perform real good. And I just fired up the Willys the other day. It's been sitting for a month or two, and I went out there and as soon as I turned that fuel pump on, got fuel to the carburetor, fired right up. It's they'll come up to an idle real quick. A little bit slower on a colder day, of course, like any other carbureted car, but they perform great.
Well,
I'd put them on my lawnmower if I could.
Why did you build that motor in your truck? Did you have a problem with it or something?
Yeah, that was a mystery motor. I got that out of a 65 GMC, and I put the aluminum heads on it years ago, but I never had the car apart. And it was starting, there was something just kind of telling me something wasn't right. It wasn't running bad, but I just had a feeling that something was going on. And when I went to check my valve lash, it was hydraulic flat tap it, and I had a feeling the cam was going, and my push rod actually wore funny. So that's it. I said, it's time to do something. And I'm glad I did when I did, because the number 3 main journal had a score in it, so it had to be turned. So I caught it before anything happened, and since I had it apart, the rods and pistons I reused, we just honed it and rerung it, but put a hydraulic roller. I used a Howard's cam and lifter set in it, and upgraded it to a full roller setup. And it's the transmission that was in it was a $30 transmission that I thought lasted me quite a while, but now that I got the new transmission in there, holy crap, what a difference. It was that old tranny, you get on it and you could kind of feel it, kind of felt like it wound up like a rubber band, then went, it was slipping, and then it would engage. This new transmission, it was actually out of my Laguna station wagon I had. I bought it back from my buddy Mike that bought the car from me, and that was prepped and had a big block in front of it, so I knew it could handle this 409. And man, the thing shifts great. It barks the tires first, second, and third. And I got a little bit more of a converter in it, so everything's matched a little better than it was. When I first built that truck, it was penny pinching to the max to try to keep the price down on it, and now it deserves a little bit better than that.
Well, now that you got your big YouTube channel, you can afford to do all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Stephen, have you got your first check yet?
No, I haven't. I ain't even looked and see how much. I think I made about $12 or something for $14.
I did. I got what I get. I didn't get paid last month. I didn't make enough, but months before I did. I guess okay. Bought my GoPro. Paid for my GoPro.
Cool. So well, now that's the thing about I understand. Shorts seem to be what everybody subscribes to. I mean, you put a video up, and I've got some that's made some serious.
I wore shorts all summer long, and I didn't hardly get any likes for having my.
Yeah, but you got chicken legs, man.
I got long pants on. I'm getting more subscribers. I don't know.
Yeah. But you put a good video up. But I mean, and I watch other people's videos, and I've subscribed to some of them, and then but you see some that's got quite a few followers, but they're just don't. I mean,
well, here's the thing to YouTube. Now, my friend, the auto archaeologist Ryan Brutt, right? He's got I think 500,000 subscribers.
Right.
But he told me a lot of these people, what they do, and I'm not saying everybody does it. They buy subscribers and they buy likes and they buy stuff. And then what it'll do is move you up in an algorithm to get you more subscribers. So it's
but then you get caught doing it and they kick you off, take your pen off you.
Yeah. Right. But I'm just saying that's what if people want to do it for a living, they go about any means they can to do it. And he said he doesn't do it, but he says he knows a lot of the bigger people have bought them, and then it creates like a snowball effect or feeding frenzy.
Yeah, so once they're up there, everybody else kind of catches up.
So
Yeah.
once you jump up into a next tier of an algorithm, then it goes fast. I know I had no intentions of a YouTube channel doing good. I was happy with like 100 people, and an online magazine picked up one of my videos. And now I'm back. And but an online magazine picked up one of my videos, posted it, and I woke up in the morning, had 1,000 subscribers.
Right.
You know, it's luck of the draw. I mean, every time I get a jump is somebody picks up one of my videos and does a story on it. I don't even know who these people are. They're online car magazines.
Well, you know, you did that one on that Cadillac there, that Elvis Cadillac. You got quite a few views on that one.
Yeah, and well, that got picked up by a magazine.
Right.
That got picked up in Japan.
Right.
If you go to your thing, your where you can read it, I guess Elvis is huge in Japan still.
I think Elvis is big everywhere.
But it did well in Japan, and it got picked up. I'm dubbed over in Japanese. I sound like an idiot, but but you know, it's more so than usual.
That ain't changed much.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, but every one of those that's done well has been picked up by the Auto Nation or all these online magazines.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they just pick them up. I mean, that's other than that, like the videos I like doing where I'm actually fixing my junk or upgrading stuff, 100 views, 200 views. You know, Elvis's car.
4,700 is what that one says. 4,700 views on that one.
On that one, look at the Chevy truck, 23,000 views. That's the first one. That old GMC truck we found, that one got picked up by 3 magazines, and still by YouTube standards, 23,000 views is chump change.
Yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, you know, like I said,
28,000.
Yeah. So what's picked up well is the Falcarino. People love that stupid car. So now I'm going to do upgrades to it, you know?
Yeah, with 3,300, 2,600, 5,500. Yeah, that's going good.
Yeah, so that one's doing good. And like I said, I don't try. It's not like I'm like really posting it everywhere.
Right.
Facebook does nothing. Posting them on Facebook.
Yeah,
If you look at the numbers for the views you get off Facebook, it's maybe 1 or 2% of your overall views. I had a long talk at that car show with 2 big YouTube channel guys, and they basically said a lot of it is luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Have a good personality.
With just about everything. I mean, we all know bands that should be famous compared to some of the bands that are signed, and you know they're just on the right bar at the right time they're just on the same thing with the car builder shows. You know, you see in the motorcycle builder shows where they're on I guess was like was it Orange County Choppers? Someone just walk in with a camera on their shoulder at the right time, and it just hit, you know.
Well, that first video, one of the first videos I done, that 49 Ford that I got out of the antique store up there, I've hit about 43,000 views on that, which is the most that I've got on anything.
Yeah.
Which kind of got me started. I mean, that's kind of, I thought, well, this is working out pretty good to see where it goes, you know, and I keep trying to give, but I don't want to copy other channels. You know, you got the Vice Grip Garage. I think his take is them weird words and stuff he uses, you know.
Well, his take is he's roadkill.
All that weird stuff he does. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's Captain Jack Sparrow.
Right.
You go to Disney.
I never thought about it. You're right. I love Jack Sparrow.
He's Captain Jack Sparrow. And if you look at his channel, basically the first people doing it was Rick Payway and David Freiberger.
Right.
Before even Roadkill existed. They're the guys that started Will It Run and Drive.
Right.
And that's where all the big views are. You know, if you wanted to do this and maybe get big, just do the Will It Run and Drive videos. I mean, I tell you, it's crazy. And I'm going to try and start that Elvis car, and I'll make you a bet it'll skyrocket, you know?
Yeah. I want to buy that car. How much you want for it?
I don't know. Come talk to him.
All right, let's go buy it.
Yeah.
Let's go buy it. Let's go buy it. Let's make it run and drive, and we'll make a road trip to Graceland.
Well, I have a road trip. We got a road trip. I need guys to do a road trip with me. I got that guy that donated the car to my channel.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and go out, get it, bring it back. I want to give the car away. I want to give it to some kid. I don't want it.
Let's go get
You
it.
know,
Where's it at?
It's in New Jersey.
Jersey.
Well, here's the problem. If we do this, I'm driving my car. I'm not taking one of yours.
So this is what we this is what we do, man. We go up during the summer when there's car shows up there, and we cover a car show.
No, let's go up in the wintertime when there's snow on the ground. Let's make it interesting.
Yeah, let's get it noisy. Well, I talked to the vice president of Reliable Trucking, the people that brought in all the cars
Right.
for, and he said they would.
He's gone again.
And I'm back. But I keep losing. Every time I go to do this, my Wi-Fi, I live in the mountains, so my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it's right at the critical point where you would do a commercial break. That's the amazing part every single time.
Yeah.
I know.
And then you're back.
The most important thing is, that's all. But anyway, so the Reliable Trucking said they'd move it for free as long as there's a charity or giveaway, but it has to run and drive. So still have to get up there and make the car run and drive.
Right.
If you make it run and drive, then might as well drive it back.
Might as well drive it home. But once again, we have my luck. So.
Yeah. As long as nobody gets hurt, breaking down could be a fun story.
Hey,
And it's not a felony,
I got that
So-
98 Dodge truck of mine, and I've got a bumper on the front of it it's probably, I ain't kidding you, it's probably 10 or 12 foot wide. And if it quits, I'll push you back.
Well, if somebody wants to go with me, because I sure don't want to go alone.
Let's
After
go.
going on-
I'll volunteer.
after
I'll
going on one
volunteer.
adventure with Bill, I just say we got to make sure it's not break.
Yeah, as long as somebody wants to go with me,
I'm in. Emily, can I go? Let me ask my wife if I can go out and play. When you on
Yeah. You've seen the video on the car, haven't you?
No, I did.
Yeah.
It's a decent
So I mean, the
car.
car's solid. It's a G body 79 Cutlass. I mean, the only thing they made good in G bodies were the T types and the whatchamacallits,
Oh,
the turbo,
Yeah.
the Grand Nationals.
Oh yeah.
Those are the
the
old.
442s. The 442 old package was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, this
Yeah,
isn't
right.
that. This isn't that. So.
What model is it now? You said a 78?
79 Cutlass Supreme. I believe it has the Romp and Stomp and 260 V8 in it.
Oh, Lord of mercy. All that power, man. It might get away from us on the way down here.
I know. So, but the car ran and drove, but guess the disc brakes are locked up. He hasn't started it in a while, but he said it was a running, driving car. It's a, decent car.
Yeah.
It's really solid according to the, videos.
Well, I'm
I tell you,
volunteering.
man,
I'm ready to go. I got your number. I can always set this thing up. We'll go.
You let me know when you want to
for the
go.
summer,
We'll
man.
go.
I can go up on either spring break or summer, maybe.
Let's do. I think we need to name it. Will Flat Broke make it home?
Well, we've already answered that question. I've done the power tour. What have I done the power tour? 10 times? I've actually finished it twice.
How do you
You know?
like? I want to do the power tour. I've not done it. I want to do the power. What do you think? What do you think?
Honestly, I on Facebook, I run all the power tour groups, the big groups.
Right.
I'm the admin of that. I've been doing it since 2008.
Right.
It's if you've never done it, it's great. If you've done it in the past, it sucks. I don't know, and I shouldn't say sucks. I shouldn't say that, but it's a shell of what it once was.
Yeah.
It was a lot more fun. There was a lot more sponsors. It's all become just money for the people putting it on. It
Once
isn't.
something becomes about money, it loses its charm.
Yeah.
It isn't about Hot Rod Magazine anymore. It's got nothing to do with Motor Trend. You know what I mean? It's all an in-house promotions company that uses Motor Trend's name. eBay is sponsoring it. I'd say 60 to 70% of the vendors have left, including General Motors, who was the big one.
Right.
Coker Tire, everybody, all the Edelbrock's gone. It's just back in the early days, GM used to have what they called mobile medics. If your car broke down anywhere on the power tour and you were a participant, GM would send a mechanic out to fix you for free, including rear ends, transmissions. If they had it, they would get you back on the road.
They used to do that with Hurst Shifter. Remember the Hurst Shifter truck?
Yep. So, but nowadays it's a lot of newer cars. The venues are massive because it's become so big.
Right.
It'll only fit in a couple of venues. So you're hitting the same venues now all the time, mostly in the Midwest and the South. And I've done it once in a new car. I did it in 2018. I did it in an 18 GT Mustang. And that's not air conditioned steering wheel, seats,
Right.
but all it is a commute in traffic.
Yeah.
You miss the smell of the 90 weight burning on the exhaust.
All right, now wait a
the
minute.
car overheating.
I talked to John there about doing a redneck tour, redneck power tour, where you like all us YouTube guys, we get together. I think it'd be cool. Like I would come.
Oh, yeah, we can all get together. We could drive down to Copperhead's place.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. Let's do that.
That'd be cool because I've never been there.
I think it'd be cool to go find a goat. Like we'd all come to your place and pick.
Did you
out
say
a car.
find a goat? Did you say
goat?
find a goat? Yeah, is that what you said?
A goat?
Yeah, I thought
He
you said
said goat.
find a goat. Man, we're
No,
rednecks. We're not that
that's my
redneck.
southern accent, you Yankees. Goat. Bunch of morons. We go to
Okay, go. All right, that's all right.
we go to
I thought
Flat
you were
Broke's
giving-
place. We pick out a car. Say, all right, this is what you got to drive. You got to fix it and have it ready in 30 days. We're going. So I think that'd be fun.
Kind of would be.
And everybody.
Well, we did it once. We did Route 66 once. I started out with the core guys of where we have Hot Rod Power Tour. Then there's the ROTR group, which started our whole thing, which is basically retards on the run.
There you
So-
go. Perfect.
There's a bunch of us idiots, and we got tired of doing the power tour one year, so we decided to do Route 66 because we're all most of us are based in the Chicago area.
Right.
That's where it starts. So we got there. We got as far as Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's like Santa Fe, New Mexico. And then we heard it was the 100th anniversary of the running of Pikes Peak. So we're like, woo! And we took a right-hand turn and went to Pikes Peak. And
Oh, that'd be cool.
well, then we found out everything had been booked for 5 years and you couldn't get near the place. And then we just got drunk and drove back to Chicago. But it was fun. It was a good trip. I remembered most of it.
Yeah.
So, but same thing. We all took our old cars. One guy blew a transmission. Mine was overheating. We all had, everybody had problems, but
I think that's a part of the fun if we can get enough of because there's a lot of folks out there like us that's got these smaller YouTube channels that would be all for it. And if we could figure out like where we're going to go or what you're going to do. And
Did you get that message that I sent you about that new museum that they built down there in Georgia, Stephen?
where'd you send it? You text it
I
to?
think it was on Instagram.
It's in
Oh, I
Dalton,
don't
right?
ever get on Instagram.
Oh, Cartersville, Georgia.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that looks like
They've got a
good.
rotating thing, the rotating type
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I
cars.
see it. Savoy, am I saying that right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, and it's they got a good. It looks like they got a couple other good museums in the same area, so I want to check that out.
Komatsu's there too.
Yeah, I don't ever get on Instagram.
That looks like
Right.
a multi-million-dollar. See, Instagram's where I'm the big star, because I shine real well on Instagram because it's just pictures of my car. See, because I've got a face for radio and a voice for silent movies, so Instagram does better for me.
There you go.
And
I'm a TikToker now, man. Since Elon Musk has bought TikTok, I'm a TikToker. I love
Yeah,
I
I
don't
take
even know.
it's
Twitter.
it's Twitter.
bought
I'm a Twitter
Twitter.
guy. Twitter. Yeah, I don't
Right,
got
TikTok's
TikTok.
owned by the Chinese.
I was going to say, what the heck are you talking? Elon
Man, I
bought
get them mixed
something?
up, man. I don't know one from another. No, where's
Yeah,
this?
last big road trip that I did was back in 19 when we drove the shop truck up to the Syracuse Nationals.
Good Lord, I
And,
got all kinds of messages on.
And I had a couple of my buddies. My buddy Mike followed. He took his camper and towed his Corvette up, and we drove the little shop truck. And we put the word out. And another guy met us up in Bristol, Tennessee, and we convoyed up. And we made it so, like, I know a lot of guys don't like driving at night, and they get worried about stuff. So we made it so we just drove during the daylight hours, and we made our stops. We went to different caverns and different museums and stuff all the way on up to make the drive part of the trip, and we had a blast. We went to Gettysburg and Ray Caverns, and in Pulaski, Virginia, there was a little automotive museum kind of place that was just a stopover for us. But it was just cool to check out some of the back roads, and I could see where Power Tour would get to the point where it's just too big to have the fun anymore. When it's you get
Commercialized, I think.
yeah,
is the
you
word
get
you're
three
looking
to
at.
maybe 3 guys up to maybe 20 different guys going. You can kind of stick together easy. You can fill up small parking lots easy, and if everybody's got their stuff sorted out, you should be able to make the trip no problem. And
what I want to do is it's called the day before tour. Is
Yeah.
you do the Power Tour, you're a day ahead of them. And stick with me on this. This is cool.
Okay.
So when you go on the Power Tour, they know you're coming. So the hotel rooms go from $49 a night to.
Oh no! See, right again.
See, that's timed perfectly.
Yeah.
So what we do is you go and you register, you get punched, and you take off, and you go to the next venue that day.
Oh,
So
I
you
see.
get a hotel room there. So what you can do is set up your chairs and actually watch the Power Tour come in.
Yeah.
Get your junk. You got to get your thing punched, then take off. So you're always a day ahead. So your hotel rooms are $50, $70, not $300. You actually have parking, and you actually get to watch the whole thing. Now, you don't get to be part of it, but I don't want to be part of a traffic jam. I lived in Chicago my whole life. That's all I ever did. So, that was my suggestion. And it starts in Atlanta Motor Speedway this year. And I bet it's going to Chattanooga or Bristol on the second stop.
Bill, I got a
Let's do
question.
it. I'm doing it.
Did-
Let's do it.
Do you celebrate Christmas on the 26th and 27th of December instead of the 25th?
I just don't celebrate.
I'm just wondering.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Hey, I'm all for it, man. Let's do it. It's starting in Atlanta. We can get. Well, that's the only thing about it. We start a day ahead of time. I'll probably be 3 days after everybody leaves. Time I get there, after I get all my oil leak stopped and the transmission.
Speaking of Chattanooga, when it did go through Chattanooga last time, I was down here for that. I missed the one when it came through Murphy by like 3 days. I was heading down from New York, but when it was at Chattanooga, we went out there, and I was not impressed. Like you said, there was a lot of new cars. I remember going around. There was minivans all over the place, and just everybody had like Plan B, Plan C written on the car, and there was just a lot of regular stuff.
You know why that is. The guys that know how to work on their cars, they can't afford to take off to do the Power Tour. And the guys that can afford to pay somebody to work on their car, they can afford to do the Power Tour, but they just buy, but they can't work on the car.
They don't put a year limit on it. I mean, I'm okay with. Okay.
Well,
I like Challengers, I like Mustangs, but I don't like new ones. I mean, I can go
to. Well, there have been huge discussions on that.
Right.
And when you're a company that wants to make money per head, they don't care about the year of the car. They just want you to register and go. Now, that being said, like I said, I did it in a 2018 Mustang, and it was a commute. It was nice. It was air conditioned. It was beautiful. I had GPS. I had everything, cup holders, but it lost the romance for me of being hot and sweaty, sitting in your own gravy, stopping, trying to fix, that's why I went,
Making a road trip, whether it's a group of people or one car, doing it in a car that's 25, 30 years old or older is so much different than just taking a regular car. No matter what it is, whether you're running down to Florida or running up to New York or running across the country, to go to California or something. If you jump in and, you jump in my 2013 Tahoe and drive up to New York and back, it was just a New York and back trip. But when I used to do that with my Laguna station wagon or even my Roadmaster wagon, it was different.
It was an experience.
Yes.
Well,
the trip is part of it. Just the, when you're cruising along, especially in something that you built yourself, and the simplicity of an older vehicle and everything, there's just a different charm to it that you don't
that's
get.
the thing. You're riding down the road and you hear a little something. Oh, what was that? Everybody quieting down. I hear something.
Yeah.
You smell that? I never smelled that before.
That's
Make a home video every time I took one of my old cars out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that sound? What's that sound? That's
Yeah,
good.
it's,
That's
yeah,
good.
get
You're
up.
talking about that- you're talking about that Mustang had all the cup holders. I've got a 72 or 73 Lincoln Continental. That thing has got 40 ashtrays in it, not one cup holder.
Yeah, no, same thing with the Mercury here. You know, it's like
Yeah.
the luxury that it's got ashtrays on everything. Same thing.
No
Yeah.
cup holders.
Cell phone slides all over the place. Cup
Yeah.
hold, you know.
You used
They
to
were
build a-
different. They all wanted to die of cancer then. They didn't care about Mountain Dew. You know, it was a whole different world.
Yeah.
I used to take a cardboard box and drill a couple 3-inch holes in it and stick it between my seats. And
See?
and that would, then you could put a couple CDs in the box and hold your drinks.
You were ahead of your time. See?
Yeah.
So when is the power tour this
I
year?
did that last year.
It will be the first full week in June, whenever that weekend is.
Right.
I'd have to look. They still haven't picked the official. It all depends on venues and dates and all that. Luckily, like I said, I have a friend that's a planner. That's in the thing.
You know
So
what?
I kind of get some info on it.
Do you
I'm
know-
willing to bet they
he's
end up
supposed- he's
through Paris
supposed-
anyway.
Hold on. There he is. He's back.
Hey, Opa!
Do you know Rakes Parrish? Do you know him?
No.
No, he does the car. I know they were going to get him to be involved in that at one time as far as the planner and this kind of stuff goes with the power tour a couple of years ago.
They was just trying to get Rakes to bring his followers that goes to his shows. What they was trying to do.
Yeah.
It's always a money thing behind any kind of when you're a small guy and somebody big comes to you, it's money. You've got something they want usually, and that's
Yeah.
what it was with Rakes. And
I guess that's why nobody ever comes to me.
yeah. Well,
Bill collector.
oh
Yeah. We're best friends.
Every time they say Mr. Phillips, man, I just kind of cringe because I know the next thing they say is, "Hey, that check you wrote me bounced." I don't know. I'd like to try it one time, but you kind of let the air. I know what you're saying about it getting commercialized, but that's just like the Rod Run. Do y'all still go to the Rod Run? I ain't been up there in 3 or 4 years.
I've done the Tupelo thing, and I've done cruising the coast, the Blue Suede cruise, and I've done cruising the coast. And then I've done Detroit. What's the stupid one in Detroit?
Woodward.
I've done Woodward. That's a circus. That is just a ghetto circus up there. No desire to ever go back to that. The only thing worth going to is the drag races, the roadkill nights. That would be cool. But the rest of it's just, if you ever been to Detroit, it's Detroit. And I'm from Chicago, and I'm like,
I'm gonna tell you, man, we go through Chicago, even though we're on the 4-lane, we do roll our windows up and lock the doors.
Bullets go right through that. So why even bother? Just take it like a man. See, the secret is you got to look like you own the place. We can pick you people out and like that. You got to walk through like you own the town.
Yeah.
If you do that, they're either going to think you're crazy or you got bigger guns than them. So no, it's not that bad, but it's
I
look
don't
at the
really care
video. Look
nothing. I don't care nothing about shows myself. I like going to where the swap meets. Of course, Stephen, you went with us up there one year, but like going to the Food Line Auto Fair and everything. I like looking at the old
Parts.
non-Chinese parts is what I,
Yep,
and then if I've got money to buy, I buy, and I don't care nothing about seeing some car that, that's been repainted. Now, if it's original unrestored cars, I do take the time and look at them.
No, we went out there to that. What is that called out there at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
That Food Line Auto Fair.
Food Line Auto Fair. I went to
There's a
Food
good
Line Auto Fair, and I carried a pocket full of money, and I bought intakes, I bought carburetors, I don't know what all the stuff I bought. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to come back and get it. And so after I went all the way through the day, and I bought all this stuff, and then I thought, well, I need to go pick up my stuff. I couldn't remember where it was at. There's so much, man.
Back in the heyday of that, the Food Line Auto Fair, it was, the COVID really hurt it. And they took people's money, and see that Hornet's Nest that puts that on, they paid the money to the track. Well, the track didn't give them their money back, but canceled the event.
Oh.
And see, and that Hornets Nest is not a big financial institution, and they couldn't refund the guy's monies back. And see, but everybody's, everybody took offense to it. So when I went back this year, there's so many that wasn't there that's, and then people was all, guys are mad because they took their registration money. And see what they did when they went back this year is the people that they didn't give a refund, they gave them a percentage off. But the Hornets Nest, them fellers, that's not, like I said, that's not a big. They couldn't take a financial hit like what they took, because they had already, paid for the track, and the track didn't give them the money back.
Right.
And
whenever the track's part.
yeah, and
a lot of that nonsense went on during COVID.
yeah,
Colorado Reunion did the same thing up at Bowling Green.
did it.
They waited, took money right up to the last minute, and then canceled it and didn't refund anybody.
Mm.
Hey, guys, my screen's going to go blank permanently. I'm at 3%. So I'm going to leave.
Hey, man, I'm going to call you. We're going to get set up. We're going to go get that car. Trust me.
All right, give me a call, man. All right.
We're driving my Dodge.
All right, I'm fine. Well, I'm good with it. Well, let's do this. All right.
All right, man,
Let me know. Okay.
That would be a lot of fun. I don't know if we make it back or not. Anybody know anybody to get us out of jail if we get put in jail? Up there? I don't know anybody. I can get us down here. Hey, okay, Copperhead. Every time you do your Arupa, is that what you said? Arupa. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Remember, did you see the videos where I used to have the little cat coming in dancing and the dude playing on the drums?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was our take on what he was saying.
Arupa.
Yeah, so what it was me and the wife used to send that to each other. Like if the other person was feeling a bit down, we'd send them that stupid cat coming in the screen, singing that, with the dude singing that song to try to make like the other person laugh. So we've been sending that to each other for years, and then we just started throwing it in the videos, and I don't know, some sort of stupid gimmick. Like,
oh, I love it. Yep.
I haven't been putting him in lately because I was reading. I don't know if he actually allowed to use other people's footage or not. So I sort of haven't put it in lately. But
I think you're allowed up to 8 seconds or something like that.
Okay, well that's what I was doing. I was just putting little 8-second clips, like 8 or 9-second clips, and then that's why I would jump back in, and then it would jump back on, and
it'll tell you in a heartbeat, man. It'll tell you. Mine catches it.
If it didn't like it, it'd tell me.
We live stream on that morning dish. I do the morning dish on the radio, and I live stream on that. I have yet. And that's why I just kind of give up as far as editing, because we get caught every single day with some kind of copyright claim on that on a radio show when we're doing it.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yep.
Even with all the ASCAP, you guys must pay a lot of ASCAP fees and stuff too.
Oh man, I reckon Packy, he's the guy that runs the board. He got all excited about TikTok. He said, we're going to be live on TikTok. So he signed up for TikTok, and we went live on TikTok. And I'm not kidding you, I think our show lasted on TikTok about 11 minutes before they kicked us off for something we said. Yeah, I'm not kidding. And so
I've watched you on YouTube on that. Can you see the comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you watch it are you up in the morning?
It's like it's when I'm going to bed. It's like late at night, 11 or something at night, 12 at night or something.
Well, I need to get you on. You need to come on one day, man. We need to get you
one
on.
day I seen you talking about me.
Yeah,
I did. Talking about wanting a freaking pet kangaroo or something, and I commented on there, but you didn't answer. Maybe they can't read them or something.
I got the station guy reads them. I can't see it from where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm sitting over there with so much going on, but I wish I'd have known. I need to get you on. I told him the other day, I said, we need to get Copperhead on over here. Talk about all the deadly animals down there in Australia, because I get everybody. I've had everybody you can think of, man. I've had crazy people, and I've had people that see the future, and I've had people that it's just crazy stuff.
Did you get any lottery numbers from them?
No, I didn't get no lottery numbers. Yeah, no lottery numbers.
Yeah. In the sign shop, and a friend of mine he was one of my vendors. I got this call from this guy. He was a psychic, and he wanted to have a sign made for a psychic shop. And so he told me what he wanted. I said, I'll work up a price for you. And I was talking to the guys that bend for me, and they would bend for other shops, but they wouldn't make the signs for the public. And I called him up and I said, this psychic guy. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, he called me, and he said, how much for a sign? He says, you're the psychic, you already know this, and hung up on him.
Yeah.
He's
I've
like,
had
you didn't call me back.
I've had some cool people. Some of them you really like a lot, like Paul Overstreet. I don't know if you listen to country music, but Paul Overstreet, I love him to death, man. He's wrote a lot of cool stuff, and I've had a lot of neat people on I got to meet. But the crazier the better on my show because it's kind of comedy, So we do. And actors, man, we got some actors that are like. I had one on that was on that movie 1886. What is it? The one off of Yellowstone, and they flipped it to 18.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was an actor on that, and she posted on her Facebook page the picture of her in the scene, and there's like 400 people. There's a little arrow way back in the back, and it says, "This is me."
That's cool.
But they were there, But anyway, it's pretty funny. But I love.
I haven't watched none of them episodes of that Yellowstone or none of that. I don't get into none of that. That stuff keeps you on edge too much,
I like it.
You barely have enough time to watch a minute YouTube video nowadays.
Yeah. I did subscribe. Of course, we don't have no cable or nothing. I just got that Roku, and I subscribed to that HBO Max so I could watch that the Christmas Story. That's the latest one with all the original actors from the original Christmas Story. And It was really that little Ralphie. I can't remember his real name. But anyway, he helped write and the movie and everything. And it's pretty good. HBO, I reckon, made it, put up the money and stuff. But it's really, really a good spinoff from that movie.
Oh, really?
I really enjoyed it. But
that George Jones and Tammy Wynette movie coming out, that Georgette Jones, that's George and Tammy Wynette's daughter. Do you know anything about George Jones, Copperhead?
No.
Anyway, he was a huge, him and his wife both was huge. They're both dead. But anyway, his daughter is Georgette Jones, and she wrote a book, and they actually took that book and let her help with it. And now they've cut and making a mini series out of it. And I think it's going to be on in a couple of weeks, but it's supposed to be really, really good. What channel or whatever? I think it's on Prime and all the regular stuff that everybody else has got. I think it's on Prime and all that's going to be coming out on. But it's she wrote the book and she had a lot to do with the movie, and so she said it's pretty accurate too, because a lot of the movies just want to do all the dirty nonsense, all that. But anyway, pretty cool. Well, now Copperhead, how's I'm at 2,090, I think 2,090 subscribers right now, and I've not posted. I'm gonna post a video here in a little while. But how are you doing on your growth?
1710.
See, I'm at 21.
So last week you hit 2,000, I hit 1,600 at the same time. That's what I was saying. We were going. I was putting things up, and I'd get 10, and then I'd go, yeah, I've got in front of him, and then you'd get 10 more, and because I was like, I know you're 400 in front, but I was just trying to bridge the gap. And
whittle it down.
All week busting my ass, and finally when we got into the 80s, I hit the 90s, and you stayed in the 80s, and I was like, oh yeah, I've got him now, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And now I hit 1710, so yeah, I've pulled a little, I've bridged the gap again.
There you go. That'll work.
Stephen's got a whole arsenal.
Big videos don't do nothing.
No.
And like I said, I've tried everything, and we'll because I rattle my brain because I just would like it to work, and because I put a hell of a lot of hours and stuff into it, and then I've always is it am I doing something wrong? Is it the way I'm filming or the way like I'm time lapsing or I talk too much or
I like time lapse. I think it's a lot better than sitting there waiting for the whole thing to happen.
I like the time lapse too.
Yeah, if it's something that is important to show, like in my last video, I was doing some time lapse stuff, but then I also stopped to show how to adjust the TV cable on a 204R or a 700R4 because that's something everybody always worries about, and it's actually a real easy thing to do. So I stopped, showed that, and then went back to going.
And doing because I watch other channels and they don't time lapse, but then to me that I find them a bit boring, and I like putting a bit of music in it, and then not to mention when it comes to editing, doing those one where you've got 200 little clips and all different camera angles, it takes you freaking hours to edit. Yeah. And the way I'm doing it is I've sort of started to film to edit, so I can edit them really quickly, because I might have 10 clips to just trim a little bit, and instead of having 100 of them, so So I don't know. I'll rack my brain through everything to try to. I went through like trying to change up titles and spending more time on the thumbnails and doing weird stuff with them, and like we had none of it changes anything. So
I think the thumbnails helps a lot and the name, but I struggle with what the name stuff on that. But I watched a lot of different channels. That's this thing you talk about, like that Vice Grip Garage. He did that one where he went out and picked up that A model, and 90% of that video was the camera in the windshield of that A model, him driving across the country, and
It's boring.
yeah, I mean, it's what it was. I mean, that was 90% of the video, and I mean,
I think his videos are too long.
I think
it's like a feature film. I mean,
Well, we don't watch him. So me and the wife have watched 2 or 3 of those, and then we don't watch anymore because she finds them boring, and it's the same thing. Admittedly, he's huge and successful, but for us, we don't find them interesting. Like, there's a couple of channels we watch that we think the dudes are absolutely hopeless, but they put so much content out, and we watch them because I think it makes us feel better about our lives that this dude's like such a dropkick, nearly like. You mentioned him the other week. I won't mention the names, but like, yeah, it's just this dude's such an idiot. Like we're nearly addicted to watching him because he's going to stuff up this week, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then I watched another one who like all he does is talk about making money on it and like doing the videos as short as possible, and I'm just like, but how do they get views? Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I think so I've been studying all this algorithm and all that, and what Flatbroke sort of said, like how they cheat to build them in the algorithm. Because I was like, we even watched another one the other day, and it says that. So say the 4 of us all put out a video today, all titled the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, and then another 5 big YouTubers did the same thing. No one would even see ours because YouTube won't recommend it because it's all to do with that algorithm and
because they want to make their advertising dollars.
So it's all to do with the ranking. So like they'll rank our videos as opposed to theirs, and they'll recommend the video that they like. So they recommend a video to an audience member they think that wants to watch it, and they'll recommend the highest ranked stuff. So like on our TV in the lounge, like that, we watch my stuff a bit on there, and I put a new video up, and it hasn't come up on there as a recommendation. And I'm saying, well, and this is on a like where I'm being watched. So like that they know that we're interested in my content, like on that on that device.
Hey, has YouTube been recommending you watch your own videos?
Yes.
Because they're like, like you need to watch this idiot. But I did that. Of course, it was just a 49-second video, but where I did the donut in the in that satellite, and of course, and for my channel, this is quite. But I got 849 views in 4 days. Just on that donut. Now, I did a short that where I was at the drag strip a couple of years ago in my pink van, and I did a short, and it's got like 479 views. And I did a short where I had a video of that tunnel ram on the trailer, and I did it. The last week, it was 9 days ago. It's at over 2,000 views on that short. But now I did a 5-minute video that combined that donut whenever I did the last burnout with that 318, then where I dropped the motor out of the car, and all of it was combined, and then where I filmed the bottom of the car after I pressure cleaned it and after I painted it. And I did it 8 hours ago, and it's got 38 views in 8 hours, and it's a 5-minute video. So, but that's pretty much common for my stuff. I'm not, getting a bunch of some stuff. Now, when I put the motor in that pink van a few years ago, I was looking at some of them, back videos of it where I did it like a instructional type video for somebody to do. The one, it's got like 7,000 views, and I did that. I think it was over 3 years ago, but the something odd like at Van, I'll do a little bit of an instructional video, but the rest of the stuff, I don't worry about showing the instructional part of it because I figure there's enough guys doing that.
I don't know, man. And you keep thinking about when are the people going to get burned out with watching the same thing? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, how many times can you go get a car and see if it'll drive home? That's pretty much every day for me.
That's why I've mixed it up so much. Like I always try to throw different cars and different builds and like picking something up and putting a clip up of a swap meter or something or a car show or, like that's, but I don't know.
Once I get this Plymouth done, then I think I might dig the Yugo out, try to get it going. That might score pretty good.
Well, there's a lot of Yugo fans out there, man. They're huge. And, I don't know, man. I think the constant, being there, putting out content, that's going to grow your channel. I don't understand the shorts. I know that YouTube is pushing the shorts, but like you say, I can put one up and I'll get 5,000 views. Then I'll put another one up and I'll get none.
Well, here's the thing. So I was pulling them down, putting them up, pulling them. So I've put the same video up maybe 5 or 6 times, right? And it's had one time, and I'll leave it up for 2 or 3 days, something. And one time it might get 20 views, right? And then the next time it might get 20,000. It's the same freaking video. I haven't changed anything. I just grabbed the exact same thing, titled it the same, everything, and. Like one time it's 2,000, it's 20, it's 20,000. Like they're everywhere. It's just.
Well, I'm with you, man. I've got them right here. I got 12 views on the last one I uploaded. Then you go over. I got 5,700 on the one before that, I guess the two.
Well, that's why I asked you the other week about that one that went crazy. That's had 90,000 or whatever it's had. That's why I said, is it like in your analytics, is that one still spiking or not? Because that just happened at the start.
9 hours ago, I got another comment on it.
Yeah.
So it is still
spiking. Video that I put on 8 years ago, and then all of a sudden it took off. It was a video from sitting. It's the most viewed video I have. It's got 15,000 views on it, and I was sitting on the floor. My buddy's got an old Grumpy Bill Jenkins drag car, and we were up at Henderson, North Carolina for their big drag time show, and he was going to drive it back to the trailer. So he's like, hop in. I said, all right. So I hopped in. I'm sitting on the tin floor with my back up against the roll cage, getting poked in the back. And I said, I'm just going to film this from, so it was just from the passenger seat view, driving this vintage drag car through the streets of Henderson, North Carolina. And I put that on there. That was 8 years ago. I wasn't really looking to do a lot of YouTube stuff because I was still doing the print magazine then. And I just featured that car in the last issue. So I figured that my readers might get a kick out of that. And, it got a few views then. Then all of a sudden, since I started posting more to YouTube, I try to post something weekly anyway. And all of a sudden that one started getting more and more comments and stuff on it. It was, a lot of people didn't, they never saw it before. And it started getting more traction. I started getting these messages in the inbox going, what are they watching? I was like, oh man, that's what they're looking at. I forgot I even posted that. So I'm going to get a hold of Doug, and we're going to do a walk around on that car one of these days because
that's like yesterday. It's showing right here on a total of all my videos. I got 1,604 views just yesterday. Wow. I don't know what videos it was. It don't really tell you that,
Yeah.
But then let's see here. November the 2nd, I got 18,640 views. I don't know.
Well, see, you got access to different information than what I've got because my channel's so small and it's not monetized. It's not going to, I don't have no data on anything other than I just go back and see my videos that I've posted on my channel, and then I can just scroll through and I can see the views that's on that, that's on my channel. Right. And just about anybody can do the same thing that I do whenever I'm doing that. But I'm not seeing none of the analytics or whatever they call it because where I'm not monetized, I don't have the information. They don't break down the information on these. I guess lack of a better word, just junk, no channels. You know, it's just don't have enough followers for them to even worry about.
Yeah,
But
so with mine, one of the reasons I started doing more was, well, of course, when I stopped printing the magazine, I still wanted to get content out to people because I didn't want to give up on getting stuff out there. I really enjoyed doing the magazine. It just wasn't profitable anymore, so I had to walk away from it. But so I figured I'd turn to social media and do it this way. And the main reason I did it is because I wanted to kind of keep a connection to my subscribers. And especially my buddies and stuff that are up in the north where I haven't seen them in years, so, just kind of a way to let them see what we're doing down here and stuff like that. And still give them some show coverage. And I didn't realize, I didn't realize how many people I miss seeing until, my buddy Shane, that he handles most of the Facebook stuff for Eastern Hot Rodder. He put a thing up there. He said, John and I want to see what cars you guys are driving. And I'm going through, oh man, I remember that car. I remember that guy. I wonder what he's up to. And, and seeing, I don't know how many hundreds of cars got posted to that post, but going through them all. And I was like, man, I remember that guy. And some of them I could remember when they subscribed and everything, it was, you just kind of, some of my buddies, like one of them was a nice Chevelle and a newer Camaro. And that was my buddy, Jim Signorelli. He printed up the Eastern Hot Rodder vinyl decals that's on the tailgate of my little shop truck. And it's still on there from the day I painted that bed. I stuck it on there, and it's been on there ever since. And it's just so I guess the reason I'm doing the channel is just to kind of keep in touch with all those people. And if it hits and takes off and everybody jumps on board, then cool. But I'm also comfortable the way it is. You know what I mean? And it's just
I'm just having fun with it too. I'm just like you, but I'd like to see. I mean, I feel like my stuff, and I feel like our stuff is. I mean, I watch everybody's videos as good as anybody's out there, but I guess you got to keep on going.
It would be nice to make some money, at least enough to go buy hot dogs once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, if we can succeed, then I can come to America and live. That's what
There you go. More reason to get them to subscribe.
Hey, how much money?
Imagine what I could build if I live over there. Man, I could
Copperhead.
put them up.
Copperhead, you said you sold 3 cars last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was it 300,000 that you pocketed, or how much was it?
Oh no, come on. Nah. That little main, seen that rusted main line? That was just a shell.
Mhm.
So and then we sold the fiberglass. So I sold the fiberglass for
You're getting
3,200.
Did you make enough to be able to buy one of those amp cars to drive it over here?
Half a car. Yeah.
And I don't know, did you see that little pimped out black Mercedes I had?
Oh yeah.
Not my big one, but the little one that I did a video on a while back. Yeah, we just sold that one. I put that up for sale, and that went. Yeah.
Did the little Fiat go yet?
The Triumph, no, I still got that. The stinky car, still up the top.
Let me ask you something, Copperhead. How many people down there in your part of the country, as far as in that personally, that has a YouTube channel? Just you in the area, or is that it?
I don't know anyone that has one. I don't have many. I don't have a big friends list. I think most people are assholes generally. So.
Right. Well, we should fit right
Well, I don't really fit in down here anymore. Like the Australia's changed, and it's not me.
I can believe it, man.
I'm like a weirdo now, kind of thing. Like so, and I don't. Also, so I'm a bit reclusive now. I've got me one mate, the snake bloke, and that's about it. I don't really.
No,
I'm being serious. Like, I don't have people over for barbies, or we don't go out for dinner, and we've sort of turned recluse. Yeah,
You're not much different than me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I do my own thing, and if someone happens to be there, then cool. It's
I think it comes with age.
Yeah.
I think
I don't put up with crap from anyone. So if you cross me in any way, shape, or form, then you're cut off for life. Like there's I don't turn to, it's okay, and then speak to them again. It's like, you're dead to me. So
ain't it great to be at the age where you can not care anymore?
Yeah. But I've sort of done that my whole life, but now I'm probably just really worse at it. Like,
you got to think about this though. The only friend you got is a snake runner. You ought to think about that.
Yeah, my wife.
Have you ever heard the song?
You guys ever heard the song?
Oh, Brad, you got to look up the song "Snake Farm" by.
I can't believe with all them snakes and stuff. With all them snakes and stuff that you've got down there, that the government won't let you even carry guns. I mean, you
No,
know,
no, snakes are protected. You're not even allowed to kill them, I don't think. I
yeah,
think they're protected, yeah.
they
think
can
they're-
kill you, and that's perfectly fine. But
Yeah.
God
think
forbid
rabbits
you
are
protect
protected, yeah.
yourself.
I'm petrified of them, but my mate would. He'll say they'll only get you if you step on them. Pretty much is what he'll be saying. Like
Yeah.
if you do something stupid, like
Yeah, but the thing is, people do that by mistake.
that's
You know,
right.
Yeah,
Snake Farm by Ray Wiley Hubbard.
No, I'm gonna send him one. Paul Thorne's so much better, man.
Is it better? Is that version better?
Oh my God, I love Paul Thorne. Yeah, his is better. We actually done
Snake
this.
Farm just sounds nasty. Snake Farm pretty much is Snake
Yeah.
Farm.
Really?
It's
Oh well,
not
yeah. I'll
awesome.
put it on some of my shorts if it's good.
I'll send it
is,
to you
yeah.
right now. I love Paul Thorne, man. He is awesome. Yeah, no doubt. If I
Yeah.
So
find
there you go. Like that video there. That's the second deadliest snake in the freaking world, and it slid into my car. and we did that video, and I thought that video, and my mate said the same. He said that video is going to go crazy, like, and it's done nothing.
Well, I'm going to show it to my students tomorrow.
yeah,
My
Like,
students.
really, that should have got picked up by the news because they're into that stuff. Like that's one that the
Oh,
news
yeah.
channel should have taken. You
Well,
know,
did you send it over to the news?
there
no,
you go.
I
That's
don't,
what
I
you
don't
do.
know how to do that. Should I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just call him up.
Before you do it, wrap your head in a bandage. And you're like, "Oh, I got a story for you."
yeah.
All right, fellas, it's 7:30. I guess we better back on out of here till next week. But anyway, it's been fun. I've really enjoyed this.
That was a good one.
Yep.
Y'all don't work too hard.
Y'all keep. I'm gonna watch. I keep wondering every week if Copperhead's gonna make it back or not. I think he's gonna be bit like his email's gonna return. Copperhead has been bit by a Copperhead. He will no longer be on your show.
You need to make sure that his wife can email you and let you know the status.
Yeah, we're praying. We're praying for you. I don't know if you're praying, man, but we are. We're praying for your safety down there in Australia. So.
Hey, I got to go and get a operation, so I don't know what I'm going to do there.
No, what you got to get done?
I don't know if you see me whinge about my elbow.
Yeah.
I took a stack in the shed. Like I was cleaning the shed and I had like a rubbish pile. I went to step over it and stepped on a plastic piece, like interior trim, and I went flying up and smashed my elbow. That was like 8 months ago. And yeah, I've just had all the scans now. Apparently I shattered the bone and there's bone fragments gone into the joint.
Wow.
And so I've got to have an operation to get it all cleaned out.
I don't
When
know.
do you
Y'all
get-
know, my brother just got a hip replaced, and it was an outpatient surgery. They went in there, replaced his hip, and sent him home the same day. That blowed my mind.
I think that will be
That
something
is
like that, yeah. But it's like a six to 10 week
Recovery.
my arm stuff, yeah.
Well, good luck, man. When are you going in?
I don't know. It's like up to them. It's
You know what you talk about that outpatient surgery. This is when somebody says outpatient surgery, I'm thinking of a bunch of little kids daring each other to do things. And then when one of them gets hurt real bad, then the doctors are outpatient surgeries. The way I see this is like, he's hurt really bad. Let's get him out of here. You know?
Yeah. That's crazy though. Back in the day,
Yeah.
man, when we were growing up, if you had a hip replacement, you were out for 6 months. You know.
Oh Lord, yeah. Yeah.
My
He's
dad would
walking
get it.
around. I mean, he come to Thanksgiving. He was fine. I blowed my mind. So
Was he walking good?
Yeah. I mean, he just had it like 3 or 4 days ago. I mean, like a couple of days before Thanksgiving. They
Maybe
seen him on that day.
maybe the drugs hadn't wore off yet.
He didn't even take no drugs. Aspirin's about it. But yeah,
That's crazy.
that's what I thought. I'd be taking the drugs. They say what they want to, but you take them drugs with alcohol, it definitely helps. Oh well, fellas, we're gonna get on out of here. I'll see y'all next week, same time, same place.
Y'all take it
Every week.
easy.
All right.
See ya.
Says.
Yeah.